Welcome to the Vera show where testimony, reality and truth meet you at the front door. Perspective to propose. Politics, religion, we talk about the real world we live in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it on the Vera show. From purpose, uplifting, let's talk about it on the Vera show. The Vera show.
Hello. Listen, having some major problems with technology again. I can't believe it. And okay. Hello, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm awesome, Vera. How are you?
Elizabeth, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, well, I cannot hear you. And I'm not sure if it's can you say something? Because I'm on my YouTube to see if it's going to come across.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
great.
right
Okay, you guys, we can hear you on here, but I can't hear you otherwise. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me. Okay, I'm turning that down. All right, since you can hear me, first, what I want to do is, I know you've got to run, so I'm so happy that you're here. Let me share with the audience a little bit about Elizabeth Bennett. Elizabeth, her and I have collaborated on a couple of things, and I'm just so happy that you're here. And her whole thing is the price of silence costs more than you think. She is a TEDx speaker. And Elizabeth transforms communication challenges into opportunities for growth. As founder of Courageous Network Incorporated, she equips leaders, teams, families, and youth to build trust, collaboration, and meaningful relationships. Through open, honest dialogue, she inspires change and empowers others to step into conversations with courage, using words that heal, not hurt. So, Elizabeth, we're kind of off order because I was going to pull up Drusilla first, but I know you got to go. So I'm going to pull both everybody up, but I'm going to give
No.
you the floor,
Hello, everybody.
Elizabeth, and please share a little bit about your childhood, what it was like, how it impacted you, why you do what you do, and we're all a part of this conference, the She Cares Women's Conference Summit that's coming up on Saturday. And we just want to uplift, encourage, motivate, inspire, and give you some nuggets, not a whole lot, just some nuggets so that you will want to come to this conference. So Elizabeth, I'm going to give you the floor.
Well, hi, everybody. It's great to be here. So one of the things that happened was I was bullied as a kid. There was domestic violence in my home, and I kept the secret. I didn't talk about it for years and years. The things that I talk about with school-age children, parents, is that we carry a backpack that nobody sees, and that's all of our fears and our worries and good things too, and they're all jumbled together, and we sometimes don't know how to deal with them. Then we choose not to talk about them because we don't know how to share them, because we don't understand the emotions that we have. And in my 35 plus years in teaching and being a school principal, I saw those things happening with kids where they didn't have anybody to speak to. They didn't know how to express their concerns or their worries or even their joys. And they didn't think that they were allowed to do that. And now those people are in business and industry, and they're managers and they're CEOs and they're employees and so on. And they still don't know how to do that. And it's not everybody, but it's a lot of people. And so what I've noticed with that is now it's really becoming costly. The price of silence is costing more than we think. It's costing our health. It's costing our relationships. It's costing trust. It's costing profitability, productivity, and in some cases, it's costing people their lives. And I want to be able to disrupt that and have conversations and have companies and have teams be able to have those conversations. Step out of your comfort zone a little, have conversations, be a little bit more vulnerable, and be able to pick and lift people up so that everyone feels like they have a voice, that they're heard, that they're seen, that they're validated, that they're acknowledged. And that way people change they become different, and their culture becomes different in their business, in their industry, in their family, in their own personal life. And so that's what I have to share.
That's wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. I heard what you said through my phone, but I have to turn it down in order to talk and not interrupt. But anyway, I know you deal with honest, courageous conversations at work, at home, in school. And I want you to just kind of share what can our audience expect of you. And you also have a book. In fact, let me pull your book up so that people can see that as well. Courageous Conversations. And I was unable to cut and paste your information from your card. If you could put that information in the private chat, I'll put it in I'll put it on in the comments so people will know how to get in touch with you.
Okay.
And now I want to introduce the visionary for this particular event is none other than Drocella. I'm not even going to try. You want to share your name?
Yes, thank you for having me, Vera. I'm Drocella Mugorewera, also known as the Thriving Community Catalyst. As someone who built a community for more than 40 years, and had to lose everything, including my family, the communities I built, and starting from scratch as a refugee in America, I have a vision from God to help end loneliness and isolation by helping women, including solopreneurs and faith-based organizations, end loneliness and isolation through building thriving community. Statistics show that 1 out of 2 people declare themselves isolated. So imagine we have 4 on this screen. 2 of us are qualified to be isolated. It doesn't have to be that way. This is why through speaking, through having conferences and a workshop like the one we are having this Saturday, She Cares Women Summit, I want to use women experiences, voices, and stories to connect, to collaborate, and to create new communities, to uplift each other, to be there for one another. Maybe you have heard that some people saying, our parents used to be in a community. And I think some of you who are listening also are Christian, and they know, you know, that the first Christian were sharing everything. So this is why in my vision, I do not want any woman to feel lonely, isolated, while there are sisters around who can support, uplift, and collaborate and prosper and flourish together. So this is what is about this summit on Saturday. I'm glad you 3 are speakers and you accepted to be speakers on that show and in that event. And I am super excited to see the room full of individuals who are ready to learn, to connect, to give, not only receive and listen, but everybody will have a chance to contribute, to be listened, and to share their experience and their championship.
Amazing. We have a couple of people that have comments, and so let's see what we have here. Souls Right House, thank you so much for being here. And then this is Charles and Sherry Jackson Ministries. Thank you for being here and continue to share in the chat. Now, Elizabeth, I know you got to go because you got some other things to do. I appreciate you coming. And is there some last minute thoughts that you want to give before you leave? And then we'll move on. I just don't want to.
Well, for your audience, Vera, I want to say that people need to step into their conversations with courage because it's important for us to connect. As Brene Brown once quoted, connection is why we're here. It's part of what we need. It's part of why we're wired like this, so that we can be together. So try even just little tiny conversations that are new, that maybe you haven't had one in a while with someone. Then take that step to clear that space, have that conversation with them, and you'll see the magic that appears.
Amen.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And because I'm a little discombobulated because of this sound situation, I did not share. Let me turn this down. This is really uncomfortable for me. Okay. I did not share Drocella's bio. And so let me backtrack and do that. And then I'm going to also share Uliana's. Drocella is a best-selling author, international speaker, and kingdom community builder. In 2008, when her safety was threatened, Drocella fled Rwanda alone to the U.S., courageously rebuilding her life in Tennessee. And today she is that visionary, wanting to connect communities, wanting to help eliminate isolation and eliminate people feeling alone. And there is a difference between being alone and being lonely. And so being able to address those issues, my heart, it just goes out, and I'm just so honored to be a part of this. And I am going to bring up Uliana, and you are going to pronounce your last name because I don't want to mess it
You're
up.
doing an amazing
So
job with
let me give
names.
you the floor. Share a little bit about your childhood and how you have done, how you have become. But before I do, let me read a little bit about you. She is the executive director of the Center for English and Integration Services in Knoxville, Tennessee. She is a former immigrant English student. She now leads programs that empower newcomers through language, education, and community support. Juliana is passionate about fostering belonging, resilience, and opportunities for adult immigrants and refugees building new lives. God bless you for
Mm.
all that you do. And I'm going to ask you to just kind of share with us, tell us a little bit about your story and how it is that you are now on the path that you're on. And then I have some other questions to ask you as it relates to what's going on in our world today. And Courtney, hello, Courtney. I'm glad to see you're here now as well. Thank you very much. I can't hear you probably, but you can hear me, right? Okay. So anyway, I'm going to give Juliana the floor, and then I will introduce Courtney, and then we're just going to have a round robin conversation. All right.
Thank you so much, Vera, for inviting us to this awesome show. My name is Juliana Castrillon. I'm here representing the Center for English and Integration Services. I'm from Colombia. I've been living here in Knoxville for 4 years. I started studying English here because when I first came, I thought that my English weren't enough well to be able to communicate and rebuild my life. So even studying English in Colombia for all my childhood and being surrounded by so many like TV shows, music, and everything like uh, from the United States of America. Uh, I thought like I didn't know like were who were who was me here. Like I thought like coming from Colombia to the United States was going to be the same as living in Colombia, and it was like so different. When I started studying at the Center for English, because I studied English in the Center for English, I met my friends from Ukraine, from Korea, from Afghanistan, and I saw another different world. And then I started like just living a different life. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. And everything that happened to me, I think it was God guiding me because everything has been so natural since I started studying English in the Center for English. Then I wanted to help more and I became a volunteer, and then I became the assistant of Sandra Puget, who was my mentor and the founder of the Center for English. And then that she got retired, he decided to also encourage me and give me this opportunity to be the leader of this nonprofit. Um, I never thought that everything that happened was going to happen to me because I felt so small when I came to the US, and I never thought that my life was going to impact other lives. And now that I'm here, having this role and like meeting other lives, um, I can definitely tell you that I've been in places where I'm surrounded by a lot of people and I still feel lonely. And it is not because I don't want to communicate. it has been because sometimes I don't find the words to connect to others because English is not my first language. So when I felt like this, and I still feel like that sometimes, I think in my students, like how they do to rebuild their lives in here. It's not like they don't want to share. It's like they can't because they don't have the language. They don't have the language to rebuild their lives and start like having a community and understand others. So it has been amazing to be part of this journey and to know that there are so many people from all over the world. We have received last year over 400 people willing to learn English in our center, and they were not only immigrants but refugees coming from wars that are in war right now. So they are not only trying to rebuild their lives uh, by just getting integrated. That's how I came here. They are trying to also process so many pain and so many uh, like tragedy that they lived when they were in their home countries like Syria, Ukraine, Afghanistan, Congo, Haiti. Uh, so we have people from over 50 different countries at the Center for English, and we give them the love that we can do, and we to share with them, and to be not only their teachers but their friends too. And that's how I think that we can start that journey of sharing with others and help them to feel the company of others and not feeling isolated or lonely by just being there, smiling to them and hear them and trying to listen and understand their broken English. Because even they don't speak well, they are not dumb. They are so smart and they have so many things to share to others. But sometimes we just discourage others because of their pronunciation or their accent, and you just get blind of so many things that you can learn from them. So yes, that's why I'm here.
That is absolutely beautiful. I feel your heart. I could hear you and I feel your heart. And, and right now, things are a little bit scary for immigrants right now. Let's be real. And so let me ask you, how has what's been happening in our country impacted what you do? And how are you helping to minimize the hurt, the pain, the loneliness that many of the people, and you said there were like over 400 people that you served that's you've been teaching English, your organization? That is
Oh,
amazing. So if you could
yes.
just kind of speak to, and Drocella, I'm sure you can speak to this as well. How is what's happening right now impacting your target population? And what are you doing to help minimize some of the things that they're feeling? And I'm going to give both of you an opportunity to share that. And then, Courtney, I'm going to come to you.
Yes, well, you were saying that we served over 400 people last year. Well, it was like they started learning English. Unfortunately, over the 50% of them just stop coming, and sometimes they do because they got afraid of what is happening. Also, some other upper students had to leave the country because their TPS got expired. Some others were unable to keep driving to the center because also their driver license got expired and they weren't able to renew it. So it's a reality that our population it's getting a little lower, like 4.5% of our students um, decreased. It's like our enrollment decreased 4.5% comparing to 2024, but English is still being important for all of them. So even if we see people leaving, and sometimes we have to say goodbye to them, um, and we are always getting new people enrolled. So uh, that's how we help. We help with English instruction. We help the most we can. We are partnering with different nonprofits that help also with legal resources and free services. And we are trying to refer our students to other places if they are in need. And also, we partner with Tennessee College of Applied Technology, DCAT, and with um, other like helping mamas to get diapers, and with Welcome House, and with others like, great nonprofits that are doing the best they can to help with little pieces of services that they can provide to the people that are having so much pain right now.
That is absolutely beautiful what you're doing and how you've had a decrease because of all this stuff. And that's why the summit is so important because it's going to help build the communities and show people that you care. That's why it's called She Cares, because we want to show that care, that empathy that is so needed now, so needed now. Drusilla, before I bring up Courtney, is there anything that you want to say regarding this issue?
Yes, I wanted to share that. I commend Juliana and all the volunteers and organization working in that era of supporting refugees and immigrants, because learning the language, especially English when you are in America, is one of the pillars for integration. Learning English and then being employed when you can, and then connecting to your community is the third pillar, and then giving forward. Because the sooner you engage in the community, the sooner you have a network of supporters. This is how you thrive in the new community. And I speak from experience, because when I came to America in 2009, I didn't have any friend. But I'm glad that the volunteers through the Northside Christian Church and the other ones who took me to church to work and then show me the way around and became my friends. And when you work with these people, they are human beings like us, and you build a relationship that lasts. So I think the people who will come to our summit really will learn a lot, and they will learn about volunteers opportunities who are there. But I want to tell you, no matter how hard it is, because some of us did go through the fire when we were fleeing wars and violence in our countries. So refugees and immigrants also are resilient. And this resilience is needed now. And then leadership resilience is also needed, because we have people who are fighting for the rights, the lawyers and attorneys, and you see like people who want to help, and those people who are in the process of being deported or who have fear, they are community members who say, this is our people. They will go to feed them, they will go to shop, they will check on the children. So, and they prepare them, some of who are being in a situation when deportation must be or can be. So they prepare there legally. So I'm grateful that the few volunteers who are in that field as attorneys, pro bonos, and other volunteers who are feeding and supporting emotionally and physically. It's amazing. So I wanted to emphasize that fear is there, but resilience is also there. And in any way, people happen to win. So there are wins also every day. And I'm grateful for that community support that surrounds us.
That is absolutely beautiful. Now I've got a delay because I'm listening to what you're saying on this. And so if there's some silence here, it's because I'm still hearing what you're saying on my end. But anyway, showing that compassion and that empathy, that's what this particular summit is all about. And I have put the link on the screen for you to register. It's free. It's free. If you want to give a donation, you can. But the information you're going to receive, the uplift you're going to receive, the encouragement you're going to receive is invaluable. So I'm going to put this link in the chat so that you can, in fact, sign up. And in the meantime, while I'm doing that, let me tell you a little bit about Miss Courtney. Courtney and Erica, thank you for being here, and I will be calling on you in a minute. But Courtney Carlson is a dynamic Christian author, speaker, and healing transformational coach with a heart for emotional healing and radical self-discovery. She offers practical, simplified breakthrough tools through her coaching, her workbooks, her video courses, her self-discovery and intimacy with God, which is so important. That intimacy with God, that relationship. If more people had that relationship, we wouldn't have all the problems that we're having today. We would not have what's happening with our immigrants and other, all of us. It wouldn't be happening if we had that spiritual connection. I just want to say that intimacy with God, available. All this is available on her website. Drawing from years of personal growth and spiritual insight, Courtney equips audiences to break free from the lie that they are not enough and empowers them to reclaim their voice and their purpose. Courtney, with that, tell us a little bit about your childhood. Tell us why you are part of this summit and help us to just understand more about you and your work and leave some nuggets to entice people to come to this summit.
Sure, I'd love to. And thank you for having me. Sorry, I am in the car, but can you hear me okay? I've been traveling since 3 a.m. to get to this summit. So I am ready to meet with you guys. But Drocella, I love that you bring up resiliency, because even though we go through our childhoods, you may have experienced trauma or abuse, or you may not have, but it's really the resiliency that transforms our lives. So I love that you brought up that point there. But so for me, I've been on a 24-year journey of healing from my childhood. I went through a lot of trauma and abuse from my family and extended family. And that really just shaped my adulthood. It started to shape my relationships and the connection that I could have and communication that I could have with people. And I relate to that isolated feeling of feeling like I was the only one who went through this. No one understands what I've been through. It was just this way of protecting myself from what I went through. So I relate to that isolated feeling of being disconnected from others. And mine wasn't a language barrier, but it was a connection, like malfunction. I had to relearn how to have healthy connection, how to take care of myself, how to communicate well, how to do all of these pieces that I really missed in my childhood. So that's what I do now is I help women really connect to their past and their story in order to see what pieces they carry. Because I really believe that we help people from what we've been through. We turn around and we help people that are on the same journey and path as ours. And whether we're one step ahead or we're 10 steps ahead, we can turn around and say, here's a missing piece. Here's what someone taught me, and I want to teach you. And so I just think it's a beautiful connector as well to say, this is where my journey and story was, and I had to learn this, and now I'm going to give it to you. And then it just ripples out from that, and it just multiplies. So I love to see the impact. Like, I mean, I went through it, impacted me going through so much healing in my relationship with God, and having those moments where, healing can happen in a moment, but then it also happens in a season and it also happens over years and years. So there's kind of that quick and slow amount of healing. But I really believe it's our honor, it's our duty, it's our responsibility to give away what we've been given, right? We freely receive and we freely give away what we've been given. And so I love to see the impact that was happened to me just on women's faces, how they connect to parts of my story, parts of their story, how they get a little bit of breakthrough, a little bit of healing, a little bit of like, oh, I'm not alone in this. Someone else went through this, and someone else healed from this, and someone else found their voice. So it's very hope filled for me. I want to give people a vision, no matter where you are on your journey of healing, that there's always more freedom that can happen for you. There's always more dreaming that can happen after healing, because we really can't get to those dreaming and purpose and calling and all of those things until we kind of dig into what is my past, what am I carrying, what's burdening me, in order to remove those, you know what I mean, in order to get to the next level. So, yeah, that's some of what I do.
That is beautiful. And you said a couple of things that just really hit home when you said we become who we are so that we can in fact pass it on to others. And that's the gift. That's the gift. And that's beautiful. That is beautiful. And
Yeah.
is there any particular nugget? You've given several already.
Hmm.
But is
Yeah.
there a particular something that you really want people to understand clearly?
Hmm.
Understanding self and that spiritual connection is just so important.
Yeah.
So before I
Yeah.
bring up Erica, is there anything else you want to
Sure.
say?
Yeah. I just don't give up on yourself. Like, believe in the healing process. Because, like I said, I went through 24 years. And so some people are in the beginning of that, some people are at the end of that. And sometimes you can kind of lose sight of, is healing going to happen? Is freedom going to happen in this? And so I want women to walk away with like your next breakthrough, the next layer of healing for you is like, right, it's tangible, it's right in front of you. And so Saturday I'm going to be talking about the healing that happens and then the growth that has to happen in order to continue that healing process. Don't give up on yourself. Like, believe in the healing process.
Awesome. Believe in the healing process. All right. I am going to share a little bit about Erica and have her come and share with us. Erica P. Quinn is an author, speaker, and transformational voice behind breaking the silence from trauma to triumph, healing out loud, and living unmuted. Oh, I love that. She is a passionate advocate for healing and empowerment, using her platform to help individuals confront their truth, reclaim their voice, and live unapologetically. As a national title holder, entrepreneur, and founder of the Healing Hands Kingdom Outreach, Erica combines faith, lived experience, and practical tools to guide others from silence to freedom. Her message centers on one powerful truth: healing begins when you stop living muted and start speaking. Amen, amen, amen. So, Erica, please share with us a little bit about your background, how you grew up, how it impacted you, and why are you a part of this summit? Now I'm going to give you the floor.
Good evening, everyone. So I will start by saying trigger warning because my story can be very triggering, but it's my truth, and I'm not afraid to speak my truth. And that's the part of learning how to live unmuted. When you can speak your truth and it doesn't flinch you one way or another, and you understand that what you went through got you to where you are now and will push you to where you need to go. And so growing up, I experienced molestation at the age of 4, incest from 7 to 12, date raped in high school, gang raped in college, and pulled into a car in my young adult years and raped and left on the side of a road. So when you understand that from the time I was 4 all the way up until I was 33 years old, I never spoke about what happened to me. My mother didn't know, my father didn't know, family didn't know, nobody knew because I learned to live muted. And the way I learned to live muted was this smile. Used to be my mask. I was hurting, but I smiled all the time to hide what I was dealing with because I didn't know how to talk about it. I didn't know how to say, this is what happened to me. I didn't even know how to process it. And it wasn't until I was 33 years old that I got my breakthrough. And the way my breakthrough came is so beautiful to me that I always share it when I talk about my story. I was actually in the process of, I had 3 women that came to my house who were all in the process of becoming ordained. My mom was a pastor. She had her own church and she was ordaining these women to work in her church ministry. And they came to my house so that I could quiz them as they were getting ready to go and take their ordination test. And before we began, we opened up in prayer. And as we were praying, the beautiful Pastor Mary Lou Sadores grabbed my hand and she said to me, the little girl is frightened, but she wants to be free. And it threw me. I was like, what? She was like, something terrible happened to the little girl, but she wants to be free. And then she looked at me and she said, speak your truth. And so I spoke to these 3 ladies what I had never spoken to anyone else before in my life. And that's where my living unmuted began. That was the seed that was planted in the ground. And so after we didn't even get to the quizzing them for their test, right? I mean, it was deliverance season in my living room for me, ordained by God just for me. And so after that, the very next thing I did was I picked up the phone and I called my mom, who is no longer here with me. But I called my mom and I said, Mom, I need you to sit down because I need to tell you something very important. And I began to tell my mom all these things that had happened to me. And what my mom said to me next was the next piece of the puzzle of living unmuted. And she said to me, I wish I had have told you what happened to me so you would have known you had somebody you could come to. And she said, I am so sorry that I didn't tell you my truth. And she spoke her truth to me in that moment of the things that had happened to her. And so that began my journey of what do I do with this now? Because I had suppressed all of these things for years. And so I started this journey of trying to figure this all out. And I knew I needed to talk to somebody. So I started this journey on trying to find a therapist, right? And I tell people all the time, one therapist does not fit everybody. It is a shopping experience. Like you go on Amazon and you look for different things and you go, oh, I like this wig, but I like this one, but I like this one until you find the one you like. And that's how it was for me. And so from the time I was 30, 35, because it took me a little bit to even get to that point of starting to wanting to really walk through this healing, right? So from the time I was 35 to the time I was about 42, I was on this therapist's search. I finally found the therapist that worked for me because, and I knew she was who I needed because when I walked in that first session, she looked at me and she said, you need a life coach. I'd never heard of that. What is a life coach? What is that? And so she began to explain to me what a life coach was. She said, you need somebody that can go deeper with you in this than I can, because ethically, I can only take you so far. So what ended up happening was I gave each of them permission to be able to speak regarding me. So I couldn't lie. I couldn't say that I was doing the work and I wasn't. It kept me accountable, right? I knew I needed accountability because what I was dealing with was very easy to run, duck my tail, and hide again. But I knew I couldn't hide anymore. And so it was like my therapist was my professor, right? And then my life coach was the tutor, the one that made me do the work, that made me get dirty, that made me deal with all of the things that I have been dealing with. And so I went through this process, and what I discovered was, and why I became a transformational life coach, is I began to understand that there was a difference between change and transformation. I didn't want change. I wanted transformation. See, change can always revert back to what it used to be. Think about it. When a woman goes and gets her hair colored, you know it was colored because what do you begin to see? The roots of what it really is, right? Transformation is you aren't the same anymore. And so I tell people, I liken it to the caterpillar turning into the butterfly is transformation, right? And so for me, I had to die first, which is what the caterpillar has to do. And dying to yourself is difficult. Giving up those things that make you happy is difficult. Giving up those things that you thought were good, but really weren't good for you is difficult. So you have to die to yourself first. And then you find yourself in this cocoon. And I believe that's the period when God begins to do his work on you. He hides you. He covers you. He separates you so that he can help you work through those things in private. You don't have to work through them in public. He lets you work through those things in private. And then comes the moment where you begin to break free. You begin to come out of that cocoon. And I tell people all the time, my favorite quote that God gave me, that I give to women everywhere, is that the beauty is not that the caterpillar turns into the butterfly, but the beauty is that the butterfly can never go back to being the caterpillar. So on Saturday, we are going to not be living muted no more. Everybody in there gonna live screaming and hollering with their real voice of who they really are. the woman that God ordained for them to be in being free.
Listen, girl, you just got finished preaching. Oh my goodness. Listen, those of you that are watching now or will catch the replay, you do not, you do not want to miss this summit. If you want healing, it's going to be in this summit. If you want uplifting, it's going to be in this summit. If you want education, it's going to be in this summit. If you want to just not feel that it's only me, because so often people go through, like you said, in silence, not recognizing they're not alone, but being able to talk those courageous conversations. And you talked about your mom having experienced some of the same things that you did, and she never said anything to you either. One of the reasons that I do what I do is because 60% of adults who have unresolved issues, it stems from their childhood. And if we're not able to communicate those things, how are we going to be able to really parent holistically, working with our children, if we're still holding on to that baggage? And also with all I've experienced some of the things that you talked about, and each of us have the God-given desire, purpose, and ability to transform lives. And that's what we are going to do on Saturday from 9 to 5 in Knoxville, Tennessee. As a matter of fact, let me pull the link up here so that you can register. Let's see, where is it? Oh, okay, I see what happened. Okay, so that you can register. I'm having a problem getting okay, here it is. Okay, She Cares Summit. Eventbrite. Check it out. I'm going to put it in the chat so that you will have it and you can click on it, or let me pull up the flyer and you can scan the QR code right now, right now. Let me post this comment first. Unfortunately, I don't have a VA, so everything I do is all by myself. So let me pull together this flyer
The VA is
so that you
coming.
can scan the QR code right now. Right now, scan the code and register right now. And right now, I have a commercial that I need to play. So let me do that right quick, and then we'll come back and continue to talk. And if any of you want to just jump right in and say anything after this commercial, feel free to do so.
Mama Knows creates high quality products that are available to be used on multiple textures of hair. Her goal is to bridge the gap to stop people from having to use multiple products because of families with multiple hair types. Her products are currently being used on men, women, children of all ethnicities. Mama Knows products are available at www.mamaknowsproducts.com. That's www.mamaknowsproducts.com. You can also find her on Instagram at Mama Knows Products, because you know, Mama knows what you need. Products, because you know, Mama knows what you need.
Mama Knows Products. Mama knows what you need. I'm telling you, these products are absolutely wonderful. The moisturizers, the hair conditioners, the shampoos, the elixirs, they are wonderful. So you want to check out Mama Knows Products because Mama knows what you need. So check her out. Check her out. All right, mamaknowsproducts.com. All right. Ladies, we've got 6 minutes, and I am going to give each of you a few minutes to give some final words. I appreciate you being here. I'm sorry that I'm the one that had the technical difficulties, but I thank God that our listening audience was able to hear you and hear the message that you're bringing forth and what it is that you're going to do on Saturday. I'm going to give the visionary the first opportunity to speak. Thank you. And thank you again for the wisdom that you brought here today and the passion and the empathy and all those things that you brought today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vera, and thank you for having all of us. And there is an African proverb saying that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a community. It takes a village to raise a family. It takes a village to build thriving connections, like we want to build connections. And the sisterhood we are building is priceless. When there are divisions among us, we have to build unity. And women are the catalyst of that unity. Women are catalyst of connections. Women are catalysts of communities, and women are catalysts of collaborations. So this is just a preview of what we'll talk. We have a whole day. We didn't want even to say a few hours, from 9 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, in person, heart to heart, belly to belly. So you will be heard, you will be listened to, you will share. Nobody will be muted. Everybody has a voice. And I ask women who are listening and who have friends who didn't register, please go and register. And sisters, we'll move mountains together. And together we can restore the stolen.
Just jump on in. Who
Yes.
wants to go next?
Thank you, Vera. Thank you for having us.
I
I would love to say that
I
this
can go next.
opportunity.
Drocella, I love your heart. I love
Go
how
ahead, speak.
you're bringing us together. But I just really love how everyone that shared already, our stories are all so connected so far.
All
And I love
right.
that the
Listen,
topics.
if anyone else wants to say anything, please jump in and we will wrap things up. Courtney, do you have
Yeah.
something you want to say or
Yeah, just real quickly. I just love how when we're sharing our stories, they're all already so connected in what we've been through and what we've overcome. And I love when themes start to happen too in conferences where it's like healing and connection and breaking isolation. So I'm excited to see you guys Saturday.
Juliana, you well to say?
Hey.
Thank you. I couldn't hear what you said, but thank you all for being here. And if anybody has anything else to say, raise your hand. All right, all right, all right. Let me give you the floor.
Yes, I just want to share
Speak
with
now.
everything that with hey, I just want to share that it has been amazing how we all have felt like we have been there too in so many ways. It's not like you have to be an immigrant or you have to have had like abuse or trauma in other ways. Like we we have been there in that place where we have been felt like isolated. So it's awesome to know that we are not alone. And what I'm going to share is regarding the language, how the is so powerful teaching and learning the language in breaking the barriers to feel company of others and integrate to a community.
I would just
Wonderful. Well, we're out of time. And I appreciate you all being here. And I will be there in spirit and on Zoom. So I will see everybody on Saturday. And again, get your ticket. The information is in the chat. And with that, we're going to say thank you for coming. And if you will hold on for a minute, I'm going to just pull you down. So God bless you all. And sorry for my technical difficulties, but I'm glad you had a chance to hear what each speaker had to say. And with that, God bless and good night. We'll see you on Thursday.
The